Welcome back. It is now 7:45. The work and recovery continues in Turkey and Syria after that devastating earthquake hit now more than a week ago. Crews are now using excavators to help move rubble. The number of people killed in the quake is nearing 42,000. And many people in those two countries are now homeless, we know, with little food and water during freezing temperatures.
And over the past couple of days, a local chef has been on the ground helping with relief efforts. This morning, we're joined by Brian Ingram, the owner of Hope Breakfast Bar and several other establishments here in the Twin Cities and beyond. And Brian, we're glad you're with us this morning. Tell us where you're located right now and what you've been up to the past couple of days.
Yeah, so Iskenderun is about 60 miles from the Syrian border, I think 60, 70 miles from the Syrian border. So we got into country here on Saturday, and we took about 2 days of just shopping, and it was things like stoves and ovens to cook soup with, giant pots and pans, and then it was a day at the grocery store buying 100-pound bags of lentils and beans and tents and sleeping bags and kind of all the things you would think about. And even 700 miles away in Istanbul, those things were becoming hard to find. So we got a van from Enterprise that I don't think they'll ever take back. We literally cut the seats out of it to fit all of the supplies in the van, and got it out here yesterday. And we're partnered actually with a local church here that it was established in the 50s. And the pastor of that church and his wife were unfortunately killed in the earthquake, but their young son was found alive. So this group is just doing such amazing things here. They're currently using the church as really just a disaster relief center, and it's diapers and baby formula and blankets and even such things as mattresses. You guys can see all of these buildings collapse, so nobody feels safe going back into them. In fact, the government's not letting them back in. So they're just tent cities after tent cities that are being popped up right now everywhere. So this church is getting ready to go into a new tent city and have a kitchen that they'll be supplying food for the foreseeable future for the next few months is my guess.
Yeah, you were just talking about your connection to this church and knowing a little bit about the family. You know, you were just on Good Day last week talking about doing this, and it really it's so commendable, unbelievable. I can only imagine what you're experiencing. If you can, just kind of give us a sense what it's like on the ground, and what does it feel like to serve people who need it the most? I'm sure there's just so many. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, the darkness is real. I mean, you walk the streets and there's nobody in a lot of these areas, and the military police and even the local police are standing guard around all these buildings that have fallen. And what they don't want to have happen is it become a tourist thing where people are taking videos and all of that. So we've tried to keep our cameras down, and we don't want this to be a tourist thing. We want to bring light to it, so we'll show some things, but overall, we try to keep the cameras down and keep that to a minimum. But it is just that overwhelming when you think about how much they've lost and what that toll was. Almost 300,000 people in this village and this town, and there's such poverty and stuff that so many people in the surrounding villages can't even make it into where the tent reliefs are. So this church group is literally driving in their vans to these villages, finding out what their needs are. There's young kids that had to flee these homes, and there's no shoes, there's no socks, there's no food, just basic human needs. And I think that's the most daunting thing is for us is how do we be incredibly respectful and do just whatever it is that they need. I showed up here thinking, I'm Chef Brian, I'm just gonna cook. Well, that's not what they needed me to do. They need me to get resources for them, stoves for them, supplies for them. Who's going to come in and be next after we leave? And so we're trying to figure out what those volunteers look like. You can only volunteer for so long and for so many days here before the emotional toll hits you. So it's how do you switch out a crew every 3 to 4 days so they can go home, shower, get rested, and just be emotionally prepared for this. I don't even know how to describe that emotional preparedness for this.
Yeah, I mean, you've put a pretty fine point on it for us this morning, and we appreciate that you're there. How much longer do you think you're going to be there, Brian?
Yeah, I'll be here through Sunday, and then I've got to return home, and then my guess is I'll be back in another week and a half. Our goal is to continue to raise funds and just get them whatever their needs are and however we can best serve them. So that may be me doing that from Minnesota. It could be that I jump on a plane and I get back over here.
Yeah.
So that's really what our plan is.
Well, thank you, Brian. It's
yeah.
incredible the efforts you're putting forth, and others like you, because it sounds like the need is it's tremendous.
Yeah.
It's
We're glad you're
daunting.
there. And as you mentioned, if you want to donate to Brian's relief efforts, you can visit givehopemn.org. And we know he has several restaurants that he's recently opened. He's got a full plate in the fact that he was actually able to make it there and help and to make a difference and to help in the way that was needed.
Right.
You know, he said, I want to just be a chef, but at the same time, they're like, they need supplies, I'll do that.
Exactly right. And retrofitting a van to do it, it's incredible what they're doing over there, what those people are facing.